Hey guys, it's Saga from TechWorks. I've been using the Asus Zenfone Max Pro for the past 2 weeks, and in this video, I want to let you guys know what I think about it and whether you should choose it over the competition or not. I never got a chance to publish the unboxing video when I got this phone, but you might have caught a glimpse of it in the background of some of my recent videos. With the Zenfone Max Pro, Asus is trying to make a comeback in the budget smartphone market, which is currently dominated by Xiaomi. Right now, this phone is available in two variants. 3GB RAM and 32GB storage variant is available at 10,999 rupees, while the 4GB RAM and 64GB storage variant retails at 12,999 rupees. It's a really good price for all of the features that this phone has to offer. I've got the black one here, but if you look at it under bright light, it is actually deep blue and not black. Like most other phones in this price range, Max Pro also comes with a metal back, with plastic at the top, which goes along both the sides and all the way to the bottom of the back. This helps with better antenna reception. This metal back is rounded towards the edges, so you won't feel too uncomfortable if you use it for a long time. But this design choice also makes it very slippery. The back also catches a lot of fingerprints, which are really difficult to wipe off. We have seen a similar kind of design on many of the smartphones in this price range, and for some reason to me, the Zenfone Max Pro doesn't feel as good or as premium as the Note 5 Pro does. Unlike most of the other phones, you don't get a case with this one in the box. I had to order this case from Amazon. It protects the phone, adds a lot of grip and a small lip at the front to protect the display. If you want to get this one, I will leave a link to it in the description section. And while you are at it, also make sure you get a screen protector for the display. Speaking of the display, we get a huge 5.99-inch display at the front. But before we take a detailed look at it, make sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of the amazing videos coming up on this channel. Coming back to the screen, it's a 5.99-inch IPS LCD panel with a resolution of 2160 by 1080 pixels. It is nice and beautiful for consuming media, and the display calibration is pretty accurate as well. It gets bright enough to be visible outside, and I think it is the brightest if you compare it with the Honor 7X and the Redmi Note 5 Pro, so that's good. I wish Asus should have added some sort of Gorilla Glass protection to the glass, which would have made it more resistant to scratches and cracks. Above the display, we get an earpiece which gets loud enough for audio calls, LED notification light, an 8-megapixel camera with a front-facing flash, and the proximity and ambient light sensors. There are no capacitive navigation buttons or fingerprint sensor on the lower bezel. The fingerprint sensor is placed at the back. While the sensor is accurate, it is not the fastest by any means. Sometimes it might even take a full second to unlock the phone. I know 1 second doesn't feel too slow, but considering how fast these sensors are on some of the competing devices, it feels pretty slow in comparison. You also get face unlock on this phone. And while it's not as fast as it is on the OnePlus smartphones, or as accurate or secure as on the iPhone X, it is still nice to have it in a phone which will cost you just about 10,000 rupees. Now, one of the most important features of any smartphone, and this is the one that gets least amount of attention in any of our reviews, is the actual call quality. So let's talk about that before we get into the specs. Cellular reception and the call quality on this Asus Zenfone Max Pro is excellent, and the earpiece speaker is pretty loud and clear. I took a few calls in very crowded areas, but I had no issues in hearing what the other person was saying. Unlike many other phones in its price range, this one supports dual 4G or dual VoLTE. So if you have two SIM cards with support for 4G or VoLTE, you won't have any problem using both of them at the same time. It takes two nano SIM cards, and the SIM card tray also has a dedicated slot for a micro SD card. So you won't have to worry about replacing one of the SIM cards if the internal memory gets full. Since we are on the topic of storage, 3GB RAM variant with 32GB of storage at 11,000 rupees sounds fantastic. And you might even be tempted to pick up a 32 or 64GB micro SD card to expand the storage. And this will cost you another 800 to 1500 rupees depending upon the storage capacity. If you are planning to do this, I would suggest you guys to just spend 2000 rupees extra and get the 64GB storage variant. Because that way, you get double the amount of internal storage and an extra gig of RAM, which will come in handy in making sure that you get better performance for a longer time. Asus has also made sure to include all the necessary sensors like accelerometer, compass, gyroscope, and so on, which means you won't have any issues navigating through maps or any other applications like that. You get a 5-magnet single bottom firing speaker inside this phone. The sound output is clearer and louder than some of the other phones in this price range, but it is not groundbreakingly different or anything like that. It comes with a Max box, which is supposed to enhance and amplify the sound from this speaker. It works to some extent, but it is just one of those accessories that you will end up trying once and then throw it away or even forget that it exists. Audio via the headphone jack is good and deep. I have also tried my ATH M50X Studio headphones with this phone, and it could power them without any issues. Overall day-to-day performance of the phone is really fantastic. It just flies through anything that I throw at it. I am amazed to see how good these budget devices have got in terms of their general day-to-day performance, and it seriously makes me wonder if one should really spend upwards of 35,000 rupees for getting a flagship smartphone. It is powered by the Snapdragon 636 processor and Adreno 509 GPU. These are the same set of chips which power the 4,000 rupees costlier Redmi Note 5 Pro. This new processor is very powerful and efficient at the same time. The 3GB RAM variant might not be the best option for optimal multitasking. For the best experience, I suggest that you go with the 4GB RAM variant. It will cost you 2,000 rupees more, but you also get twice the amount of internal storage with that one. Part of the credit for this smooth performance goes to the Android Oreo 8.1 that ASUS is running on this device. They still call it customized Zen UI, since there are a few pre-installed apps, but they could have very well called this one a pure Android device. Now with a skin or a customized UI, you definitely get few new features and more customization options. But I much rather appreciate the simplicity, speed, and faster software updates that this almost pure Android operating system brings along. The dual camera setup at the back houses a 13MP primary camera with f2.2 aperture and a 5MP secondary camera with f2.4 aperture for depth sensing. At the front, you get an 8MP sensor with f2.2 aperture and a LED flash. These camera specifications are for the 3 and 4GB RAM variant. The 6GB RAM variant, which is launching later on, will have slightly different set of cameras. ASUS is using Qualcomm's Snapdragon camera app. You get a lot of modes to choose from, and there are beauty and portrait modes on both the rear and front facing cameras. I feel that this camera app is a bit cluttered, and some of the basic toggles like the option to turn on flash are buried under secondary menu. You can shoot 4K videos at 30 frames per second, and there is also an option to shoot 4K DCI videos. Sadly, you don't get options like tap to focus while shooting videos, so you have to rely on phone's ability to focus accurately on a particular object. You also don't get any kind of stabilization, so unless your hands are stable like a rock, you are probably going to end up with shaky footage. Here are a few images from this phone. There is fair amount of detail in these outdoor daylight shots. You will see an extra bit of saturation in all of these images, and depending on your color preference, you may or may not like it. Most of the average users should be happy with the daylight performance of this camera. Portrait mode images are surprisingly good from this phone. Considering the price point, I did not expect it to be so accurate at detecting edges and making the overall images look so good. In low or artificial light, there is a lot of noise in these images, and they are not as sharp or detailed. It does a decent job at the best in these situations. I think it is okay for the price, and if you want a phone with better low light camera performance, then you should consider getting the Redmi Note 5 Pro. The 8MP front facing camera does the job both in normal and portrait mode, but it is not the sharpest or the best selfie camera on a budget device. Some images might turn out good when the light is right, but just don't expect it to outperform the Redmi Note 5 Pro. Speaking of the Redmi Note 5 Pro, I will be comparing the cameras on both these devices in a dedicated video, and I will also be making a complete comparison video of these phones. So make sure you are subscribed to the channel and hit the notification bell so you are notified as soon as those videos go live. Coming to the battery life, this phone manages to pack a 5000 mAh battery in a 8.5mm thin body. You can easily get close to 7 or 7.5 hours of screen on time. This can go well above 8 hours if you are connected to Wi-Fi instead of using cellular data most of the times. So this phone can easily take you through a day and a half or sometimes even 2 days on a single charge. It still uses a micro USB cable for charging and not the reversible USB Type-C one. It kind of supports fast charging, but only when it is being charged with the 10-watt charger which is included in the box. Now I know that 10 watt is not fast charging by today's standards, but I have tried using it with various other fast chargers, and for some reason it draws even less power from those. It takes about 2.5 hours to go from 5 to 100%, but considering that it has a mammoth 5000 mAh battery, this seems like a good time. So to sum it up, you get a 5.99-inch Full HD Plus display with a modern looking 18:9 aspect ratio, metal back, Snapdragon 636 processor, dual VoLTE support, dedicated microSD card slot, a 5000 mAh battery, good if not the best set of cameras, almost stock like pure Android experience, face unlock along with somewhat slowish fingerprint sensor, and all of the other necessary sensors. With all of this going on, it is really hard to find any compromises with the Zenfone Max Pro. No Gorilla Glass protection on the display, slightly slow fingerprint sensor, and the cameras are the only things that might not be up to the mark on this phone. But considering that you are getting all of the above mentioned things at a starting price of 10,999 rupees, I would have to say I am impressed with this phone. Asus hasn't been making a mark in the smartphone industry for the past year or two, but with the launch of this new Zenfone Max Pro at such a competitive price, I think they are definitely going to create some buzz in the smartphone industry. So, what do you think about this Zenfone Max Pro? Would you consider buying this over the Redmi Note 5, Redmi Note 5 Pro, or the recently launched Realme 1? Let me know in the comments. If you are going to purchase this phone, I will appreciate if you get it from the link in the description section. It helps the channel out at no extra cost to you. That is it for this video, guys. Please hit the like button if you enjoyed this video and subscribe to the channel for more quality tech videos like this. You can also check out some of the other videos from this channel. This has been Sagar, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care.